couple of years, I'd be used to that.
Hi, everybody. We're live now.
Oh, finally.
God, so yeah, welcome, welcome. Um, what?
Guess what? Are we live? No. What was I supposed to be guessing?
It's just an expression. You're taking it literally. It's rhetorical. It's like, oh, hey, guess what? It's raining. Like you're not supposed to actually guess. It's just,
I don't know. When I say guess what, I usually have something of interest to tell the person. I'm
Yeah,
just
I
saying that's
know.
just me.
And you always make me guess, which is, I mean, not super annoying, but a little annoying because I'm always like, just tell me. Just tell me the thing. I'm not going to guess. Just, I mean, out of respect for you, I will make an attempt. I will make a guess, but I'm not going to get it right. So just tell me.
Azalea Jane, I had a student do that to me.
Ah, that's a classic. Oh, do kids still do that?
Well, I guess if 14 or maybe 15-year-old counts as a kid, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, like high school people. Wow, that has survived to this day. Guess what? Or you know what? Chicken butt. That's
to
like
this day,
I get. Well, I mean,
when?
kids were doing that. Kids were doing that when we were kids. Like, and I'm sure that they were doing it before that.
I mean, I guess they were in your neck of the woods. I never heard it until I became a teacher.
You never really? Oh man,
No.
I heard that all through middle school. I think by high school we had stopped doing it, but middle school it was very
it's a middle school thing. It's a middle school thing because
it's because there's tiers to it, there's levels to it, or there's it's guess what, or no, you know what, chicken butt, you know why, chicken thigh, you know how chicken style.
That's a stretch.
They're kids. It's a kids thing. It's a kids thing, Dana.
See, I was thinking if it was going to be, you know how, the butt of a cow.
But then no, you're jumping species. That makes no sense. There's you have to keep the You as an English teacher should know about the importance of parallelism.
But it does. So it depends on how you set it up. Guess what? Chicken butt. Guess how? Butt of a cow.
Okay, yeah. If you're only but once you've done two chickens, the third one has to be a chicken too.
You have to continue with that. Yes.
If you do one chicken and then the second one is a cow, okay, you haven't established a pattern. But if you do chicken thing, the third one has to be a chicken thing. It can't just be a cow thing out of nowhere.
I think it could you could keep a double parallel if you went on to guess when and did butt of a hen. Because it's still a chicken thing, and it's also still a butt.
Yeah. But that's a little, I feel like you're introducing complexities
we're way overthinking this.
Yeah, it's like a hen, which is a kind of chicken. It's like
indeed.
The 13-year-olds are not going to be like, oh, very clever.
This is a particularly foul conversation. And you wore the right shirt for it.
That's right. This is my brand new shirt. You like my goose shirt?
Yes. Is it a troublesome goose or a mischievous goose or a naughty goose? It's something like that.
To me, it's just an ordinary goose. All geese are like that.
But
there's a reason why the animal chosen to represent this phrase was a goose and not any other animal.
Azalea Jane has officially changed the subject. To what? I don't know.
I remember speaking of geese, there was I might have been a story on This American Life years ago, but it was by a guy who he had geese on his farm, and the geese got sick, and he was kind of depressed because his geese were sick and he was afraid they were going to die, but he was able, with the help of his local veterinarian, to nurse them back to health. And he was very happy one day when he went out to feed them and they started biting him, because that's how he knew that they were starting to feel better, because they were being jerks again.
Yep. I mean, so basically what you're saying is geese are like men.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I mean, that's not like me. Like, how I know I'm getting better is I start eating more again. It's a food thing.
Well, maybe that's why the geese were biting. They're like, give us the food.
Yes.
Drop the food now and walk away.
And again, you know, they're incapable of feeding themselves. Also like men, apparently.
Excuse me, I have pizza that I made myself, not from scratch, obviously, but I took it out of the box myself and put it in the oven.
Did you burn it?
I didn't. No, it came out just how I wanted it.
That's how we know you're a bachelor.
Well, because I didn't burn it?
Yeah, because like a married man would be used to his wife being in the kitchen, and therefore.
Oh, and I wouldn't know how to do it. I see. I see.
Not that is not always true, and I think that
no. When I was married, I mean, I didn't do all of the cooking, but I did a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a competent sort of guy, Steve.
I am. I like doing for myself.
I don't. So I don't know if we have any menopausal women, but I've noticed like today was really bad, like dropping things. Like
dropping things a symptom of menopause?
I don't know, but like I've noticed that I'm dropping things. I'm menopausal, and I've noticed that
you're dropping things, so they must be connected.
I don't know if they are. That's why I'm asking. I don't know, but yeah, I have a checkup at the doctor this month, next month, one of these months coming up soon, and I need to ask that. It's like it's dropping things because like it's just like since getting home, like I peanuts, teacup full of peanuts. I've eaten a few of them, but several more have like I pick up like just one or two at a time and just so I haven't dropped the whole thing, but yeah.
But that's coming. Let me ask you, and if this is too personal, you don't have to answer. But before we went on the air, we were in the Zoom call, but you were not. You had joined the Zoom call, but then you left the room, and I heard you. I didn't hear anything
that I wouldn't say on the Zoom call.
Yeah, I couldn't hear what happened leading up to it, but I distinctly heard you scream an almost guttural profanity. Was that related to dropping something?
As they say, yes, it was, and it wasn't even the peanuts. It was it was the knife. The pizza cutter. I had to pick it up and wash it off.
I see. Okay, so it was nothing.
We were getting close to like time for the show. I'm like, I don't have
time
for this.
Okay. So that's why you were agitated to that degree, because the fun thing about, and this is just a little,
because it was before cutting the pizza, and I'm like, I couldn't just throw it in the sink. I had to wash it off so that I could use it.
And this is just a little peek behind the curtain for everybody. This is a little taste of what it's like to know Dana privately. When I talk to Dana, whether it's on the phone or a Zoom call or whatever, I will occasionally, hear her just scream something, just with just the purest, most vulgar rage. And the fun part is it's impossible to know what happened. It could be that like someone just fucking T-boned her car, or it could be that like it's 5 minutes later than she thought it was. I mean, the gamut is incredibly wide.
It is, but it means it's not incredibly serious, because if someone has T-boned my car, there will be like, if the T-boning is over, if it's during the T-boning, it's like, okay. So that means I am doing my best to make sure that I maneuver the car in as safe a way as possible while it is being shoved off the road. Afterwards, when the car is still, there will be a couple of, maybe a second or two of silence as I'm like, okay, kind of breathing and checking where it hurts. Mm-hmm. And then you'll hear, okay, I'm all right. I'm okay. It's okay. I will establish that I am not.
I'm alive.
I'm not injured.
Yeah.
Because I'm not. The car is going to be, totaled, but I'm fine.
But you've been through that before. You're an old hand at that.
Yep. Walking away from a total car.
255 AD says, and this is in reference, I think, to the video I made last week about the document published by Third Way, the centrist Democrat group, about, how to sort of re-strategize after the election loss. And their suggestion was basically become even more of a centrist party. um, and 255 AD says, you know what was a thought I had when you were reading that policy document? Even if these people are right, I don't want the Democrats to win if it means acting how they want. I mean, I can see why you would feel that way. And I mean, I don't want, I personally don't think they are right. And I don't think what they were proposing is a productive way forward for the Democrats. I am forced to admit that it would still be better than what the Republicans would do. But
And it's
it's,
a high bar in a limbo contest.
yeah, exactly. It's, I mean, because I read a lot of it on the video. I read almost every single word of it on the video, and then I was riffing on it and responding to it. If you go back and you read it, you will find little glimmers of progressivism or things that are progressive in the current fucked up political context of our country that actually
It would
shouldn't
be
be all that
progress.
progressive.
Oh
Like
my God.
implicit support for public education. Not overt. They don't come out and say we should, we should be on the front lines of fighting for teachers and teachers unions and public education. Like, they don't say that, but there's just an assumption that as Democrats they would support public education. It's not nearly what the party should be doing on that front, but it's better than what the Republicans would do. So there's a lot of stuff like that. It's not anywhere in any stretch of the imagination is it where I think the party should go. But compared to the Republicans, it's still preferable. But I don't, yeah. David Corden, yes, the Third Way's plan to lose an election even worse. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let's do the thing that never works. let's try that again.
No, 255 AD. See, here's why that's not true. Because the GOP is also continually going down that path. Or actually, I guess I should be pointing this direction, to the right. Like,
yeah.
I guess there comes a point when you go so far to the right that you have exited stage right, pursued by a bear or whatever it would be if that was the directions. But I mean,
pursued by an elephant.
There you go.
No, but see, that's the irony. Elephants would never actually be Republicans because they're too intelligent.
They remember things.
They do. They do.
Oh, see, Kimberly, thank you.
Okay, so there's some substantiation for you.
Oh, and yeah, somebody who, Caitlin mentioned, the ADHD rager, and it's just the minor frustrations. Like when I was mad at a student this afternoon. So I was over at my desk after school. I don't know exactly what I was doing. I was putting some, I was putting something or other in the binder. So I'd had some students who had done their vocabulary work on paper instead of in the online program. So I keep those so they can then continue it the next time if they happen to forget their computer or whatever. So I had a student who was the first time they'd forgotten their computer. So their work went in the vocabulary. So I'm putting that there. And I had my student who comes afterward for some extra help. And he knocked on the door. I said, just a minute, because I was closing putting the paper in. It takes a few seconds. And then I have to walk across the room. And then I hear ka-thunk, ka-thunk, ka-thunk. And I'm like, so yeah, what you heard, like with the phrase is with your full chest, I said, please wait. Like, full out, I was livid. And I got up, took my time, took a few. In fact, I think I even put a couple things away, just breathing. So I'm like, I actually do like my job. I love my job.
I can't kill this kid. I can't kill this kid.
This student overall. This behavior is not acceptable. So I go to the door. I open the door and stand in the doorway and look, as I do, down at this child because
can I help you?
I'm so much bigger than all of them, except one. One of my freshmen is taller than me and large child. So yeah, I said, let's be absolutely clear that that was not acceptable. please explain to me, or no, that's what I started off with. Please explain to me what made you think that causing the door to make a sound like what I heard was okay. He said, I just knocked. I'm like that. I
He
said,
knocked after
show me.
you said he
No,
knocked
he knocked.
after you acknowledged that you had heard it and you said wait, right?
No, he knocked. I acknowledged that I heard it, and then what I later found out, he apparently shouldered the door.
Oh yeah, so there was like there was a
There
knock
was
and then
not
there was
first.
wait and then there was a second noise
I
and that's
said
what you
that was
screamed
not
at.
the issue that gave me. That was not the sound I heard. That was the problem. He said, well, that's, he said, oh, I wiggled the handle. I said, show me. And he goes like, tick, tick, tick. I'm like, that is not the sound that I heard either. And so when I, I was doing a Captain Cisco.
That's right. Hey, are you on your good microphone?
Oh, I'm not. You are right. I plugged in these doohickeys, but that's a different doohickey. You are so right. How'd you caught that? Oh,
Well, 255 AD mentioned it in the chat, and I didn't notice it, but you were cutting out a little bit when you were going a bit loud. So you should be good now.
So now I can yell at all of you. And yeah, that also means I picked it up and put it up there. The little camera that sits on top of my thing was over here. I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna be looking up at my ceiling. My beautiful ceiling. It's white.
Your beautiful popcorn ceiling. Super Luigi and Daisy, hi, welcome to the stream. Yes, I do live stream. This is our Wednesday show where we do watch-alongs, and then I also do a solo Q&A stream every other Friday. And yes, you did hear an audio glitch, but it's been corrected now. Speaking of this, we haven't mentioned, I know there's at least a couple of people in the chat who haven't watched this before. We are, in a few minutes, when we get done our pre-show sort of jibber jabber, we are going to be watching an episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And because, and I know this will come as a shock to people, I do not have clearance from Paramount to stream the actual episodes on my channel. So if you want to watch along with us, you'll have to queue up the episode we're going to watch on your end. It's streaming on Paramount Plus here in the US, and it's streaming various other places internationally. Or if you happen to have it on DVD or whatever, you can just queue it up that way. But we are going to be watching the season 5 finale, Call to Arms. So if you have not done so already, go ahead and queue up Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode, season 5, episode 26, is it? Yeah. Season 5, episode 26, A Call to Arms. And we will be watching that in a few minutes.
I want to jump onto Snake Big Casting. I would rephrase that as Democrats think they govern, Republicans think they rule.
Yeah.
And Republicans may be very tyrannical. Gosh, what was that from? It's got to be like all dogs. No, can't be all dogs go to heaven. Cats rule and dogs drool. And it's I don't think it doesn't sound right for the Aristocats either. I don't know.
I've heard, I can't remember where I heard that, but yeah.
Yeah, it's some kids movie with, anthropomorphic dogs and cats of some sort.
Some awful children's movie.
Something that I remember very little of, apparently. And so if I don't remember much of it, it has to be really bad.
Because children's movies are the only things you can remember sometimes. Homeward Bound, Azalea says it was Homeward Bound. That sounds right. I don't know if I can't.
I was thinking it was for that. Animated. Yeah, I totally believe it though. Yeah, the cat in there is a particularly sassy one. So speaking of animated, I think tomorrow, I haven't decided exactly how we're doing it, but we just finished up our werewolf unit and we're going into the crafted beings. So today, the students who are really into it, man, they finished their unit assessment was like a series of paragraphs. I gave them, I don't know, maybe 10 tests, and they had to choose 4 and write a paragraph on each one. And the ones who were really into it were like, they plowed right through that. And I'm like, oh, type it. Because I'm like, everybody else had like a sentence or two. It was when I was out to get my tooth fixed last week, and I come back and like some of them have done nothing, and others have like multiple pages written out. I'm like, okay, well, type it. because even the ones who did a good job, some of them's like a little hard to read. So so they're like done with way time to spare. And I'm like, okie dokie. Here, Frankenstein. So today some of them were finishing up their work and others were I was like, look, I'm not gonna make everybody read this because I can't. Like, I can't make you read it, let's be honest. And I said, just read the author's like the author's prologue at the beginning, and maybe the first few letters, because it starts off, and just let me know what you think, because if you want to keep reading it, then you can read that instead of some of the other stuff. But I don't think you'll be able to read that and the other stuff. If you want to, that's fine. But just, if you don't want to keep reading it, let me know and we'll see where that goes. And but tomorrow, I think we're going to start off with a short story. So it's crafted beings, including Frankenstein is one of the few that is not a robot. Most of it's going to be like sentient robot type stuff. And we're going to start off with the first episode of Heart of Darkness. And I think what I'm going to do is, because they're so short, do Heart of Darkness and a short story. And then probably Friday's actually going to be a shortened class period. So we'll probably just finish up with Heart of Darkness and maybe some discussion. Perfect.
Huzzah.
Yeah. So yeah. Batman the Animated Series. I am so
you mean not Heart of Darkness.
Yes. My brain is not
Heart of Steel? Heart of Steel. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Heart of Darkness is great too. I mean, I read it in high school.
Yeah,
not for a class, just on my own, but I read it in high school.
They don't have a Batman the Animated Series episode of that. That's not the title. Man,
wouldn't that be great? Batman making his way up a river, looking for what would be the villain? Who would be the Colonel Kurtz of Batman? I said Colonel Kurtz. Kurtz in the original story.
I mean, Rachel Gould is he's
Rafe,
he's got he's definitely got the darkness thing going on. Caitlin, are you asking me? Are you getting beeps or something? I don't think I've got. I mean, I've got Notepad open, and I don't usually have that open.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine.
I'm pretty sure that's fine.
Sometimes Zoom does little hiccups.
Yeah, I've got Zoom and I've got Chrome.
Yeah,
that's it.
Oh, Snake Pit Cat says Hugo Strange. That's got.
Yes, that also works. Yeah, one of our cats is an almost entirely black cat. He has like 3 white hairs, like here, sort of, just below his ear and a little bit to the back. And it's like, it's so cute because it's not like someone will have it here or like here. No, he's in this weird spot. It's so cute.
Well, what do you say? Shall we watch this episode? Dana.
Yes, let's do that. Well, somebody is like, chat. That's what I'm here for.
Oh my God.
So shall I explain?
We've been doing this show for so long and you're still so unprofessional. I admire your dedication to being unprofessional on the show.
I am dedicated to our audience here in the chat. That is what is important to me. You say that's unprofessional.
Okay. Like I said, it is vexing to me, but it is also almost admirable how you do not care whether this is interesting for people to watch at all. Like you don't give a shit. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes. Please explain to the people how this works and we will watch.
No.
Call to arms.
Because arguably, like, you also fuss at me for not paying attention to the episode, like, talking. But like, if somebody's watching this, then if we just sit here and very quietly watch the episode, that makes it more boring. So it's inconsistent. And I don't like inconsistency.
I know.
So, at any rate, how this works, hopefully you have had plenty of time to pull up season 5 episode The End, whichever one that is.
Episode the last one.
The last one. Just go until there's like a little break in the list of episodes. There's a little break, and the next one says season 6. That's where we go.
The one right before that, yeah.
Yes, the one right before the break. And so you want to pull it up and get it going so that if there's a commercial, it just goes to after the commercial. And then, but make sure that the little timer is at 0000.
Yes, indeed.
And so then hover your indicator or cursor or remote or whatever over the little play button, and then wait for Steve, because precision matters. And Steve is going to say 3, 2, 1, play. And when Steve says play that last time, because he'll say, okay, I'm going to say play like 3 times, and you'll think, nope, not then. You have to wait for the countdown. We got to wait for the countdown. It's very important.
Yes, that's right.
And then we all click play at the same time ish, and we watch the show. And then we yammer along, and I'll probably miss some things, and you can just tell me in the chat. It's all good. It's all good. And but if we have a max headroom thing with the entire internet, and you get desynchronized with us, check out that time code right up there, and just adjust the bar. We're all good.
There you go. All right, then. Here we go. I will count us in. As Dana said, I will count us in from 3. I'll say 3, 2, 1, play.
That wasn't the countdown.
We all hit play when I say play.
I haven't even had anything to drink.
Are you ready?
Right.
Yeah, nothing alcoholic.
So.
Are you ready?
Let's go for it.
Okay, in 3, 2, 1, play.
I thought he'd shown her the loincloths and the handkerchiefs, and he's like, there's nothing else. That's all.
That's all we got. Hi, Debbie.
Hi, Debbie. Any marriage where the female is allowed to speak and wear clothing.
Those are both best avoided.
Equivalent. Or apparently husbands to be.
Yeah, see that, O'Brien? When the war does start, it'll be all your fault.
We'll make you suffer.
Oh, like if you were O'Brien, you would be this more scared for the war than anybody because you'd be like, man, I have it hard enough during peacetime. What the hell are they going to do to me if we're fighting a war?
You don't want to ask that question.
Oh, that's an interesting theory, Kevin. O'Brien started the war as revenge. If I must suffer, so must everyone else.
Feel my pain.
That's a typical O'Brien move.
David C.
Air
Drake,
one
I don't
fire,
think
yes.
David C. Drake, I don't think that would quite work because part of it isn't just that she's objecting to it, but that they're disagreeing. Air one fire, I don't understand why a government would be hostile to you if you're just doing whatever it asks you to.
Well, it's hostile. The government is hostile to us, not to him.
I didn't publish the article, I just submitted it. Not everything. Don't stop him now. It's the thing that Jewish men wear. Oh, no. Not
Okay, the short version is
always.
he wants this, but he can't have this.
Again, looking for the right moment.
Served in your extremely 90s coffee cup, just the way you like it. Oh yeah, Caitlin, the time code is behind. Let me fix that.
Grumpy voice.
Worf is mad.
I thought the thump was him throwing the baseball at him. It's like,
Ow! What the hell, man?
Liz, you'd be surprised. It can still happen. Eventually, they'll run out of ships. Hey, Dragon Garden, we are watching an episode of DS9, season 5,
Call to
episode
arms.
Call to Arms. That one. We're here, almost 10 minutes in.
Oh, what the hell?
Rom, don't worry about it. You will make bigger mistakes.
Yeah, I know, Air Fire. It's something on my end. I'm not sure what's going on.
Don't want that to happen.
Oh, Worf, there's no such thing.
Ours is not to reason why. And what have you decided? Oh, fun.
Snake bit cat, I like that. The neutral friend zone.
Yeah, that was what we were thinking you were going to try to do. Yeah. By compromise, we mean you give us what we want.
Yeah, 255. I think this is the most like attempted threatening
Hostile-ish.
that he has been. Yeah, tough talk from Wayun.
Okay, great. Please leave.
Do you know who said that? These are
That
the times
nature.
that try men's souls.
Huh? What?
What Cisco said a minute ago. Do you know who said that?
Sorry. Which part of what Cisco said? Sorry,
These are the times that try men's souls.
Oh, yes, but I can't think of it right now.
Thomas Paine.
I was trying to watch the show.
Good for you. Sorry to interrupt. Hair on fire. The moral of this story is I'm awesome and fuckable as hell.
Dun dun dun. Move faster. Great idea. Can I write about it? Oh, wait.
Now remember, Jake, try not to puss out like your last battlefield experience.
Yeah, you're busy, but I can insult you. I've got time.
Caitlin, I'm the same way. I love big empty spaces. I would probably prefer Deep Space Nine to be deserted. Air One Fire, you're right, I think. Think how many you think how much trouble would be prevented at various points in the series if they had just let Garrick murder whoever he was trying to murder. Or if he had murdered someone that he thought about murdering but didn't in this case.
Very
Azalea,
dramatic
yes, and the
music.
Pale Moonlight is next season. Speaking of Garrick murdering people.
more, Will. Come on.
Sean O'Sullivan, it might be my favorite too. If it's not my favorite, it's up there. You know, Sean, what I like about it is that it's not just a variation on the Enterprise. So many other Star Trek ships are just minor variations on the Enterprise, and the Defiant is not that at all.
And Sean, also, Jack Russells are just adorable, and you just can't not love them. Kaboom, kaboom, kaboom.
David C. Drake, nicely done.
Nice.
It's good. It's good work. H.B. Hager, that's a good one too. Makos, we are leaving.
Salting the fields.
Air on fire, I know that's ridiculous. Who would ever do that?
Air, wind, fire. Come on. I think it's a great story. Yeah, Mr. I Love the Ants. It's not even his bar.
Shauna Sullivan, because nobody suspects the dipshit bartender or the dipshit waiter, I guess.
Heck, it's like we've seen from Agatha Christie. Nobody even notices the dipshit waiter.
That's why they're always the killer.
No. Or sometimes they were the victim, and then they're disguised as the waiter. It's just like old times. Yeah, Caitlin, it's something that's been in the works for a while. He wants all the other merchants to like pay him a fee to join.
Exactly.
He's been trying for years. Everybody's like, how many merchants are part of it so far? He's like, well, I mean, we're working on that. They're like, okay. Wait, there's symbolism? I missed it.
It's his baseball.
Oh,
That's the symbolism.
okay. I thought it was just, his comfort object.
His little knick-knack that he likes to play with.
Yay.
The baseball, not just a baseball, but the baseball.
His baseball. Okay, so I missed how it was symbolic of something.
Well, it's Cisco's baseball, and he left it behind on purpose as like a message to Ducat, like, I'm coming back for this.
Okay. So it wasn't like a symbol of something. It was just sort of a nonverbal message.
A message.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, is this supposed to be like, does it represent his resilience, or I don't know, what is baseball symbolic of? It's like
America.
Yeah, that doesn't fit there at all. Like, I can't make that work.
It's
Look,
the national pastime,
America.
Dana. It's the
Well,
national
yeah, but
pastime.
it's just sitting there in the station. It's like, look, America. Yeah, it doesn't fit with the story.
The one constant to American history has been baseball. Yeah. Cisco's going to come back and his first words are going to be, have you seen my baseball?
No. So here, if the symbolism is America, then they're like, oh, hey, look, they're going to be fascists too.
Do you know what baseball symbolizes, Dana? Everything that's good. That's what it symbolizes. Every single thing in life that's good.
No. Exactly. No.
Well, let's move on from this. What did you think of the episode?
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked that they ended with, because I got the message of, he's coming back, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
It felt like I felt like it ended when they got there and Kira officially welcomed them, and then that scene broke, and then it continued for a little bit. I'm like it didn't there was a little bit of clunkiness getting to that final moment that they wanted. Once we got there, like, oh, that's what they were going for. Okay. But it kind of felt like it had two endings there. There were lots of nice little moments. And it was just interesting to see the way the characters dealt with the changes that going to war brought about. So that was kind of nice.
Yeah. There are a lot of nice little moments, little character moments all through it. Yeah.
But at the same time, I also like that it wasn't overly maudlin about it. Definite plus.
No.
Yeah.
Speaking of those little moments, I didn't comment on it when it happened, but it's near the end. It's at the end of that meeting that you just referenced, where you said you thought that was going to be the ending, where Kira greets Ducat, and it's that little sneer that Damar gives to Kira, and I think it's Kira and Quark. They're kind of just standing there while the Cardassians are leaving, and Damar just kind of gives them both like just a little smirk and a little snicker, like, before he walks away. It is a little Damar moment that I love, because Damar is going to, especially in season 6, Damar is really going to come out as a very interesting character, and I love Damar. He's such a great character.
Okay. Great. I guess I'll figure out who the heck he was one of the Cardassians, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Because I know who Wayun is, and I know who Ducat is.
He was the other Cardassian that they kept cutting to besides Ducat. He's Ducat's like second in command.
I didn't notice that it was the same guy the whole time.
Because you think that all Cardassians look alike, don't you, Dana?
No, like I can pick out Ducat at this point, and I can pick out what's his name, the tailor.
Oh yeah, Garrick. Yeah.
Yeah. See.
Liz makes the same joke. Are you saying that all Cardassians look alike, Dana? What do you think of it as a cliffhanger?
No. It's not a cliffhanger any more than the end of like a chapter in a book is a cliffhanger.
Okay, well, what do you think of it as a hook?
I think it works as a hook,
Okay.
yes, but it doesn't feel like it feels like a hook, not a cliffhanger. There's definitely a sense of, you know, this part of the story has ended. They have left the station. They have conceded the station. But again, you know, yeah, it definitely signals that there's more to the story. But it's not like it's left on, yes, but what happens next? It's more that it's not what happens next that's important. But you know, that next moment is not what's important, which is why it's not a cliffhanger.
Right. It's not,
It's
but
how
there is
they
a
get back to it. Yeah.
there is a what's going to happen now, though. I mean,
Yes. But I would say, yeah, it's not more about what happens, but we know they're coming back. That's what happens. How it happens is the question. Does that make sense?
yes.
Like what happens has already been like projected to us through that, you know, just like Ducat was, you know, they're coming back. That is what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
How does it happen? And that's why it's a hook, not a cliffhanger.
I want to get back to that in a second. I just want to quickly acknowledge Caitlin saying Damar is still meant to be kind of anonymous right now. He becomes his own character much more in the start of season 6, so people notice him more on rewatches. And this actually is an example of the writers intentionally setting stuff up. A lot of the time when we look back on the show and you see things like,
fit that in together.
In hindsight, it looks like they were doing things intentionally when actually they weren't. Things just kind of worked out a certain way. With Damar was, and the writers have spoken about this in interviews and stuff since the show ended, Damar was intended to be developed into an important character from the moment that they first cast, you know, Casey Biggs, the actor, to play him. They said, and they basically, when they cast Casey Biggs to play him, they basically told him, you're not going to have much to do at first, but this guy is going to end up being important. And that's exactly how it worked. Like, he's basically just the other Cardassian besides Ducat for a few episodes where he just kind of appears. And actually in his first episode, which is the one where Kira, where it's when Ducat is in his sort of rebel phase and he's commanding that stolen ship. And and I think that's the first appearance of Damar. And he I don't know if they even establish his name, or if they do, it's like Ducat calls him by name once, and he might have one or two lines, just like really basic, like perfunctory expository dialogue, but they keep cutting to him for reaction shots like he's somebody. You know, they're setting him up as, remember, like, this guy is important, remember this guy. And then they did that in this episode too. And then come season 6, he is going to become a much more fleshed out important character. So that is actually an example of the writers deliberately sort of slowly building something. But as far as it being a hook, what I really love the ending of this episode, because I remember watching the show when it was originally on and getting to this point, you know, the end of this episode and the end of this season. And it was the first time since the cliffhanger at the end of Best of Both Worlds in TNG, where a Star Trek show made me go, holy shit, what are they going to do?
Yes.
It was because it's such a shake up of the status quo, even though you assume, like you said, you know, you assume, well, they're going to come back, like they're going to come back, and eventually at some point the status quo is going to go back to the way it was.
But it's not just going to, you're not going to pick up the next episode or even in the next couple of episodes. I mean, this is a big change. Yes.
It's been so disrupted that, and it's, and I was thinking about it today because I was thinking about this episode. Star Trek really didn't do this as often as you would have thought that it would after Best of Both Worlds. Because, like, the cliffhanger at the end of Best of Both Worlds, where Captain Picard has been captured by the Borg and turned into a Borg, And then the episode ends with Commander Riker giving the order to attack the Borg ship that Captain Picard is on, and then that's like cut to black, to be continued. And that was what made TNG what it was. Like, that was the final sort of push that made TNG a really popular, really beloved show. And it was that tension of, oh my God, what are they going to do? You know, what's going to happen? It was introducing that threat of, you know, things are probably going to turn out okay because it's a TV show, but now everything is in suspense. Like, everything is threatened. Like, oh my God, are they going to kill Captain Picard? What's going to happen? And they never really did that in TNG after that, at least not to the extent where you actually bought it at the time, where you thought, oh man, like, what's going to happen? And so the Deep Space Nine doing this, where it's like, oh shit, they abandoned the Starfleet people, abandoned the station, and the station's been wrecked. The station
that is the title of the show.
Yeah, it's like everything has been turned upside down in a way that, like you said, feels like they can't just fix it in the next episode. Like, it feels like a dramatic shakeup of the status quo of the series. And it's just strange to me looking back that the producers of TNG, and really up to this point, the producers of Deep Space Nine, in terms of like season ending stuff, that they played it so safe, when not playing it safe in TNG was what put that show on the map, you know?
Yeah, but then it's on the map. So, so two things. First of all, I do want to go back to, because I didn't get to say it, the whole do all Cardassians look alike? No, but all extras and side characters are let go of in my brain, because I have a hard enough time keeping up with all of the cast that there already is. Okay, so it's not that they look alike, they just look like, oh, you're not one of the people, the many freaking people in this show that I already have to remember who the heck they are. I don't remember you. I don't have to remember you yet. Okay, you're not there. My brain is not holding on to that. My brain is holding on to the fact that I need to talk to this student who was supposed to come after, supposed to come make up a test at club period and didn't. And I've got first block planning tomorrow, and I need to talk to that student if they're here, but they said they might not be. Shoot, I also need to talk to, I was supposed to make a pass for that student. I need to look him up. I don't know if I have my computer. I'm going to write this down. But the other thing that I wondered was, if you do that too often, those shakeups, like, it gets to, you lose that impact.
Yes.
Right. So here's my question. How many seasons did TNG run?
7.
Okay. So just once, and that was a season ender, wasn't it?
It was the end of season 3 leading into the beginning of season 4. So
right smack in the middle.
Right about halfway, a little earlier than halfway through. Yeah. Yeah.
So do you think if they'd done that at the end of, say, season 5, when the show was sort of coasting toward the end, that it would have propped it up and set it on?
Maybe. I mean, my thought is more, not so much that they should have done it more often, but just surprised that they didn't attempt it, given that
how well it worked.
Kind of, yeah, like how well it worked the first time. Yeah. And also that they didn't.
This worked. Let's do that again.
Yeah. And also that this was, like, what we just watched is really the first time they did it on Deep Space Nine.
But also, let's not forget that when they did it on TNG, it took 3 years of, things get reset. We keep the status quo. We keep the status quo. We keep the status quo. If you don't have that, with you, then it doesn't have the same impact. If they'd done it again at the end of season 4, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's the season finale again. That's fine. Yeah. Yeah. So the earliest maybe they could have done it would be at the end of season 5, because at the end of season 6 going into season 7, if season 7's the last season, they're kind of on the down low. It might come across as, oh, they're just, doing something wild and crazy because the show is on, downward slope, and actually pushed it, made it worse. So they start really reaching for plots then. So, I mean, it just, when it is those big shakeups, it's a risk, because it's when you have an established audience and they have expectations, you want to subvert them in a way that surprises them, but also feels fulfilling to them. So you have to subvert them in a way that the expectation that you are subverting still feels paid off.
Right.
So, and you can't just do wild stuff for the sake of doing wild stuff. So you have to be able to set all that up. And especially for something to be a big change like that, you have to set up, here is what those expectations are, so that you have something big to subvert. And that takes time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and Philip points out after they did repeat Best of Both Worlds in a sense, in that after Best of Both Worlds, every season finale of TNG after that was a two-parter. Like it was you know, a to be continued. But it just wasn't, it didn't have the same stakes. It didn't feel like it was threatening to shake up the entire show.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, the season 4 ended with Worf leaving the Enterprise and going to fight in a Klingon civil war. And then the beginning of season 5 wrapped that up in the first episode. Then season 5 ended with them traveling back in time to 19th century Earth. And then, you know, start of season 6, it wrapped that up. And then season 6 ended with the threat of Data turning evil and joining his evil twin Lore. And then season 7 began with the wrap up of that. So like they did do cliffhangers or to be continueds at the end of every season after that, but it just didn't have the same, you know, how are we going to, like, we have to, like, there's not going to be a new episode until after the summer. How are we going, you know what I mean? Like there wasn't that anticipation of, oh my God, what's going to happen next? I want to know right now. You know,
David Corson, oh come on, it's not that hard. It's Frodo and Sam. See, that's a piece of cake. So, well.
So how are you feeling? Are you up for some Wordmaster, or would you like to call it a night?
Let's go for some Wordmaster. I think I can manage it. If it's really hard though, I don't know. Y'all need to help me out here, because I'm definitely I am season 7. I am on the downward slope.
You're like
I've felt some squeaks, but I've been able to hold them back so far.
You're my favorite part of Ray Charles's version of America the Beautiful, when he's going into the final chorus and he says, "I wish somebody would help me sing this." I love it. Okay. So we're going to play Wordmaster, which is
not Wordle.
Not Wordle. Wordle with the serial numbers filed off. And the way this works is Dana is not actually going to be looking at the Wordle board that I'm going to show you all in a moment.
In my brain.
Exactly. It is an incredible feat of mentalism. Dana will be going by my description of what the board is, and we'll solve it together that way. And Dana will be taking the lead as far as what we guess and so forth. And we invite you to play along. Please put your guesses in the chat and we will play Wordmaster and hopefully successfully solve Wordmaster together. So here we go. This is the Wordmaster puzzle we're going to be working on.
H.B. Haga says we should start with arugula. I disagree.
Arugula. Yeah, me too, because there aren't enough letters.
That's the point. So yeah, let's go for heart like usual. H-E-A-R-T.
H-E-A-R-T. Well, it gives us a T as the last letter, but that is it.
Woo! Well, let's go with lions then.
Lions. Okay, now we're cooking. All right.
Okay.
No, none of these letters are in the right place. But there is an L and I and an S.
Okay.
So now we have 4 of the 5 letters. We know that T is the last letter, and we know that there is an L, an I, and an S in there somewhere.
No, H.B. Haga, the T is at the end.
It could be
stilt.
It could be split.
Yep.
It could be stilt, yeah. Yeah, because there could be a second T.
So let's try split.
Split.
Yeah, because that'll let us know whether, give us some positions.
Okay, let's try split. Oh, I was right. It's split. Look at that.
Yay!
Look at that. Awesome.
See, Liz, that was the one that I thought of, but Steve came up with it first. Yay! So, is this week I go away? I have lost track.
Yes, it is.
completely.
Yes,
it is.
It is.
I have literally not thought of it. So that means
It's okay.
that if you are a channel member or a patron, that if you have not already sent in your question for Friday, you can do that. Because on Friday at 6 p.m. on this very channel, Steve will be here answering questions from patrons and members. And if you are not a member or a patron, you can click that little join button down there, or you can go to patreon.com/Steve Shives and become a patron in support of Steve's wonderful channel, and possibly pay for a new microphone once he starts beating that one up some more.
if I hit this one accidentally too hard.
Yeah. See, the nice thing is, Steve, you don't have to worry too much about it because you're not menopausal. I'm pretty sure about that.
Well,
Feel
yes,
pretty confident on that one.
I am. And also, I mean, I did just bump against it, but it is on a shock mount, so it should be fine.
Fancy. See, this is how you know that
you're-
Steve is a professional.
Well, yours has a shock mount too. It's just oriented differently. That thing that it's hanging in the middle of like a dream catcher. That's
another
shock.
way that you know that Steve is a professional and I'm not. I didn't even know. No idea. So anyway, Friday, 6 p.m. right here, Steve will start off with questions, pre-submitted questions from patrons and members, and then he'll answer questions from the chat while we're all yammering around. And then yes, next week on Wednesday, right here, same time, 6 p.m. I'm so glad. This afternoon I was like, oh wait, we didn't say anything about stupid daylight savings. So yeah. So if anybody has just gotten here for the last part of the show, sorry. Blame
It's
the
not
US
our fault.
government.
It's
not
the
our
U.S.
fault.
government's fault. It's you know who's to blame? Fucking Benjamin Franklin. He's the one who thought of that shit.
I hate it so much.
You get some static
yeah.
electricity off of a key tied on the end of a kite string, and you think you're hot shit. You invent the potbelly stove, and you think you're hot shit.
Well, the stoves certainly were. So next Wednesday, this time, we will not, alas, be starting. You'll have to, it's that cliffhanger feeling. You'll have to wait even longer.
Have to wait a week instead of several months.
2 weeks, Steve. You'll have to wait.
Oh, that's right. 2 weeks, because yes, 2 weeks. Yeah.
Next week, we are watching Poirot. What are we watching next week?
Oh boy, next week we are watching The Chocolate Box.
Yay!
And boy,
sounds
you could
great to me.
You could interpret that a couple of ways. And all quite appealing to my mind, but yes indeed, The Chocolate Box Poirot is next week's show.
And also, let us not forget to look down in the description for some organizations that could use some support, as well as charitylinks.page, which contains some information about friends and associates of ours who could use some financial support as well. So
yes, indeed,
if you have the means to do so, there's your opportunity. Helping people is good. Ta-da!
It sure is.
Thank you all so much for coming. Thanks, Steve, for hosting as always.
As always,
I did enjoy this show.
Thanks for being here. I'm glad you liked this episode. And hopefully you'll like season 6 when we start it in a couple of weeks, because season 6 is, especially the first story arc of season 6, I think is really good. So,
Caitlin, I have no idea. I think what I was hearing about was they were going to keep daylight savings time year round, which I think is a terrible idea. My way of thinking is it makes more sense to have more light in the morning when you're trying to wake up, and less light in the evening when you're trying to wind down for sleep.
It does make sense.
It makes so much sense. And I mean, I get up, my alarm is literally set to stupid early. So it's going to be dark, period, full stop. Like in the summer, it's dark when I get up. Okay. So it's not going to matter. But on principle, mostly because I really do not like driving past children standing in the road waiting for the bus in the dark. Don't like that. I don't like that.
I don't like that either, because somehow if you hit them, it's your fault. Like you're the bad guy.
I know, right? Anyway,
Anyway, bye everybody. And by the way, I don't mention this often, but Caitlin, thank you very much for moderating and kind of taking charge of the chat. You are when we do these Wednesday streams, you are almost always the only mod in the live chat, and I do really appreciate it, and you do a great job. So, all right, that's it, everybody.
Bye. Thanks so much for
See you
joining
next time.
us.
Bye bye.